It is Severe Weather Awareness Week in South Dakota, and now we're going to be talking about severe thunderstorms and the difference. I mean, not all severe thunderstorms are the same. You know, sometimes I like to say that not all first alert weather days are the same. I mean, you could have like a little rain shower or maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but then there's a first alert weather day, you know, when there's like going to be widespread severe storms. And that's kind of the same thing with the different categories of severe thunderstorms.
And it kind of helps to break them down a little bit too, to be able to really kind of separate those differences and what they definitely are. And a lot of it comes down to wind speed, for example. So we call this kind of the base severe thunderstorm warning. You need 58 miles an hour of wind speed or hail up to quarter size to get that base warning. But then look at how it climbs as we get toward considerable and destructive.
Yeah, that really depends on where exactly you are for that wind speed. Obviously, Tyler already mentioned that base, just 58 miles per hour. That's on the weaker side of the spectrum, but you get more damaging wind gusts, 70, 80 plus mile per hour. That's when we talked about earlier that destructive tag. Look at that hail size too, really getting way larger, up to baseball size with some of those more destructive thunderstorms.
Yeah, if you get to those higher warnings, you're starting to talk about tornado level damage that aren't even related to tornadoes. So this is stuff that you rarely see, but it happens quite often in certain outbreaks that we could possibly see, specifically for severe thunderstorms. This is something to keep in mind later down the line.
And sometimes, too, when we have that situation where there's going to be the possibility of considerable damage with the 80-mile-an-hour winds or greater, or those baseball-sized hailstones, the severe storm or the Storm Prediction Center will put out a watch. It might be a severe thunderstorm watch, and they'll say it's a particularly dangerous situation because it's not your normal severe thunderstorm watch. It means those storms are not just your normal severe thunderstorms. They're going to be some really big ones.
And you hear us talk about a lot, whether it's our segments during team weather or it's you guys in the morning talking about team weather. We start to show those severe weather outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center, and they obviously have various colors, right? Risks 1 through 5, and that varies on the intensity. And here's kind of a brief overview of what those different levels mean.
Yeah.
And well, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, these are kind of key tellers. You know, very often we see a level 1, even a level 2 risk when we're getting into some of those higher categories. That's at level 3, that level 4, or even very rarely that level 5 risk. You're getting more widespread severe weather, long-lived, and possibly even more intense tornadoes, that more intense storm mode.
Yeah, and we keep seeing additional add-ons from the Storm Prediction Center. Recently, they just added new intensity outlooks in addition to just the categorical outlooks. So these are new things we're adding in terms of the amount of intensity that we could see and the level of tornadoes or the level of winds we may see. So this is newer stuff that we're still seeing, but still something to keep an eye on.
Most definitely.
And a lot of times, every day, the Storm Prediction Center puts out these severe weather, or they call them convective outlooks. It's kind of a scientific name for it. It's just a severe weather outlook for the next few days. And so a lot of times we will know, or at least have a good idea, what a severe weather day might be down the road.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep in mind too, obviously we talk about safety, really quick. This is something interesting to look at too. This is talking about lightning death locations over about the last 20 years or so. And it's kind of incredible to see all the different amounts just outside when you wouldn't expect it.
Look at the higher number. Look at the highest number. It's under a tree.
92. Yeah.
Under a tree. So you would think that that'd be a safe place. It is not.
Well, I think part of the reason that number is so high under trees, people often are taking shelter under trees too. Yeah. That's not great. If you see lightning or if you hear thunder, we often say if thunder roars, go indoors.
Yeah, that's why it's always so important to seek shelter inside if possible. Just avoid outdoors in general, no matter if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, no matter if it's a tornado warning. And even if watches are released, you probably want to hold off any outdoor plans because things could get active later in the day.
All right, and once again, just a reminder, if you miss any of these segments that we're doing during Severe Weather Awareness Week, you can find them on Dakota News Now.
If severe weather is headed your way, stop in now for all the essentials. Be ready and stay safe by shopping your locally owned neighborhood Nyberg's Ace.